Hey guys, welcome to the first part of a mini-series I'm doing about the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is roughly translated to the Lord's Song. It's considered an Upanishad, or something that is directly heard from the divine. It takes place in the middle of the Mahabharata, which is an epic told about the Kurukshetra War. The Kurukshetra War takes place arguably somewhere between 3000 BCE and 900 BCE. What's not argued about is that it's kind of taken on faith that it's taken 18 days to carry out and that it took place somewhere in North India. The Bhagavad Gita is a discourse between Krishna, who is an aspect of Vishnu, sort of the god of maintenance. Krishna is sort of the Jesus of India. and it's a discourse between Krishna and Arjuna, the warrior prince. The Bhagavad Gita is generally accepted as the most important literary work of India, at least historically speaking, and has influenced many people, including Mahatma Gandhi, in their lifestyle and belief system. What I'll be outlining today is the first 3 chapters of 18 of the Bhagavad Gita. So a little pretext as to where we get into the Bhagavad Gita. You can kind of see that the Bhagavad Gita starts in the middle of this conflict. The Mahabharata, the overarching text, is sort of the build-up. The Bhagavad Gita is the middle, and then there's the work down where it's all the war and how it all gets carried out. The start of the Bhagavad Gita is the character Sanjaya narrating to his king who's on each side. On one side is Arjuna fighting for his older brother. His older brother is supposed to be king, and he is sort of a warrior prince, Arjuna, and he's fighting for that seat. On the other side are his cousins, who one way or another came to the throne, sort of like a mix-up and a timing thing, but they're not the rightful heirs, and Arjuna and his brother are fighting their cousins for the throne. So that's kind of the context of what's going on, and Sanjaya explains that a little bit. There's wise men that Arjuna respects, and they're all kind of a clan together. But there's fighting on each side, and it's family fighting family. So Arjuna is in a chariot, and his charioteer is Krishna. A lot of people that are sort of like less wise, they can't see, the truth of their own existence. They don't recognize Krishna as that charioteer. They just kind of understand him as like a wise guy who's carting Arjuna around. Krishna is sort of in disguise, you could say. So Arjuna and Krishna are in the chariot. Krishna's driving, Arjuna's in the back, and Arjuna talks to Krishna. He says, Arjuna, I want to see what's going on. Take me to the middle of all of this. This is before the battle has started. So the two sides are on each side, and so Arjuna wants to come right to the middle and just kind of take a scope of everything. And so I'll read to you what it says here in the Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna, standing between the 2 armies, saw fathers and grandfathers, teachers, uncles and brothers, sons and grandsons, in-laws and friends. Seeing his kinsmen established in opposition, Arjuna was overcome by sorrow. And then Arjuna goes on to how he's feeling about the battle. He's kind of getting cold feet. He goes on to say this. O Krishna, I see my own relations here anxious to fight, and my limbs grow weak. My mouth is dry, my body shakes, and my hair is standing on end. My skin burns, and the bow Gandhiva has slipped from my hand. I am unable to stand, my mind seems to be whirling. Arjuna goes on basically to say, it is almost better, instead of killing my kinsmen, to be killed. That is the more peaceful path. In fact, he says here, better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to attack me in battle and kill me unarmed and unresisting. And Dhritarashtra is his uncle, I believe. And he's basically saying, not only do I not want to kill these people, but I would be willing to lay down my life just so this conflict doesn't have to happen. And so Sanjaya, the narrator of this part of the Bhagavad Gita, says this. Overwhelmed by sorrow, Arjuna spoke these words, and casting away his bow and arrows, he sat down in his chariot in the middle of the battlefield. So the first chapter is basically Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I can't do this. This is crazy. I cannot fight my own kinsmen. I can't do this battle. Like, killing is wrong, especially killing family. This whole thing is crazy. I respect the people on that side. There are my teachers, my family, my friends. There are so many people there that I love. How can I fight them? And so you'll probably notice that Krishna has nothing to say to that in the first chapter. So we're getting into the second chapter. This is Krishna's response to Arjuna, basically telling him, dude, buck up. And Krishna says this: "This despair and weakness in a time of crisis are mean and unworthy of you, Arjuna. How have you fallen into a state so far from the path of liberation? It does not become you to yield to this weakness. Arise with a brave heart and destroy the enemy." And wouldn't it be so easy, and this book wouldn't go on any further if Arjuna just listened to Krishna right then. But he's human and he still has these feelings. He's still feeling doubts and fear about this battle. And so he goes on to say this, Arjuna, "How can I ever bring myself to fight against Bhishma and Drona?" Those are the teachers that he really respects and sort of a statesman that he respects. Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of reverence. How can I, Krishna? Surely it would be better to spend my life begging than to kill these great and worthy souls. If I killed them, every pleasure I found would be tainted. So here we have Krishna saying one thing, Arjuna feeling another thing. Arjuna's feeling the cold feet, he's feeling the doubt. Krishna's saying like, dude, you're fine, go ahead and do it. So with that, Arjuna sort of just submits to the idea like, okay, clearly I need advice. Krishna, what advice can you give me here? What can you say to me that will encourage me to go into action? So what Krishna says here really entertains me, and I kind of like to imagine him as like a thug gangster character in this part, where he's basically telling Arjuna like, listen dude, they're gonna be reborn anyway. Like, it's fine. Kill them. Do whatever. Like, win this war. If they die, they're gonna be reborn. Do not worry yourself about it. And this is exactly what Krishna says. There has never been a time when you and I and the kings gathered here have not existed, nor will there be a time we will cease to exist. As the same person inhabits the body through childhood, youth, and old age, so too at the time of death he attains another body. The wise are not deluded by these changes. Krishna goes on to say, the body is mortal, but that which dwells in the body is immortal and immeasurable. Therefore, Arjuna, fight in this battle. One believes he is the slayer, another believes he is the slain. Both are ignorant. There is neither slayer nor slain. You were never born. You will never die. You have never changed. You can never change. Unborn, eternal, immutable, immemorable, you do not die when this body dies. Realizing that which is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and unchanging, how can you slay or cause another to slay? So there is no life, there is no death, there is only the true self which exists behind this physical form. And that's what Krishna is saying. And he's so much so just saying, you know, it doesn't matter, like, these physical forms are not reality. The true self is what matters. The stuff that happens in this material world, forget about it. And Krishna says to Arjuna, it is your dharma as a warrior to fight. Your purpose is to fight. That's why you are here. There's no greater honor than to carry out your dharma. A little bit about what dharma is. Dharma is your purpose as a living creature. Some say that the dharma of a human is to save. The dharma of a tiger is to hunt. The dharma of a scorpion is to sting. And the dharma of Arjuna here is that of a warrior. His dharma is to fight. Krishna also, again, getting into that G Krishna, you know, he's like, listen, man, if you back down now, everyone will think you are a bitch. Like, you can't back down now. There are huge, huge armies on either side of you. You can see them from where we're standing. You can't back down now. Your name will be sullied for the rest of your life and past this life into your next life and so on. And then changing notes, Arjuna asked Krishna, okay, so you're talking about all this spiritual stuff, how to live spiritually. How will I recognize someone who lives spiritually? What does that look like? And so Krishna says this, and this is part of what a lot of people believe is one of the most important and essential parts of the Bhagavad Gita. So listen carefully. This is Krishna speaking. They live in wisdom who see themselves in all and all in them, who have renounced every selfish desire and sense craving tormenting the heart. Neither agitated by grief nor hankering after pleasure, they live free from lust and fear and anger. Established in meditation, they are truly wise. Fettered no more by selfish attachments, they are neither elated by good fortune nor depressed by bad. Such are the seers. Even as a tortoise draws in its limbs, the wise can draw in their senses as well. Aspirants abstain from sense pleasures, but they still crave for them. These cravings all disappear when they see the highest goal. Even of those who tread the path, the stormy senses can still sweep off the mind. They live in wisdom who subdue their senses and keep their minds ever absorbed in me, Krishna, or the true self. When you keep thinking about sense objects, attachment comes. Attachment breeds desire, the lust of possession that burns to anger. Anger clouds the judgment, and you can no longer learn from past mistakes. Lost is the power to choose between what is wise and what is unwise, and your life is an utter waste. But when you move amidst the world of sense, free from attachment and aversion alike, there comes the peace in which all sorrows end, and you will live in the wisdom of self. The disunited mind is far from wise. How can it meditate? How be at peace? When you know no peace, how can you know joy? When you let your mind follow the calls of the senses, they carry away your better judgment as storms drive a boat off its charted course on sea. Use all your power to free the senses from attachment and aversion alike, and live in the full wisdom of the self. Such a sage awakes to light in the night of all creatures. That which the world calls day is the night of ignorance to the wise. So let me reread that. That which the world calls day is the night of ignorance to the wise. I like that line. I'll keep going. As a river flows into the ocean but cannot make the vast ocean overflow, so flows the streams of the sense world into the sea of peace that is the sage. But this is not so with the desire of desires. They are forever free who renounce all selfish desires and break away from the ego cage of I, me, and mine, to be united with the Lord. This is a supreme state. Attain this and pass from death to immortality. And so what you'll notice about that passage is that it's all very neural and very mental. It all happens in the head. Withdraw your senses, withdraw your desires, live in the true self. It all happens internally. And Arjuna, getting into the third chapter, basically asks Krishna, okay, that's all good. I can do that. So I'll just live in wisdom, right? Krishna says something else. He says, no, you have to live in action too. That is the way of life. Krishna gets into differentiating between two separate types of yoga, jnana yoga and karma yoga. Jnana yoga, or jnana, however you want to pronounce it, is the internal neural discipline, the spiritual path of wisdom. Karma yoga is the path of selfless action. And Krishna basically says, that is the way to go. If you're going to be doing anything, do it selflessly. And it's in this third chapter, things kind of turn into a more life guide for Arjuna, and the audience too. Krishna goes on to say this. At the beginning, mankind and obligation of selfless service were created together. Through selfless service, you will always be fruitful and find the fulfillment of your desires. This is the promise of the Creator. Bringing back that concept of the Creator, Krishna goes on to say, every selfless act, Arjuna, is born from Brahman, the eternal infinite Godhead. Brahman is present in every act of service. And so Krishna gets into one of the basic examples of leadership that we hold true to this day is, if you do good things, it'll be an example for others to do good. Let me read this for you. What the outstanding person does, others will try to do. The standards such people create will be followed by the whole world. There is nothing in the three worlds for me to gain, Arjuna, nor is there anything I do not have. I continue to act, but am not driven by any need of my own. If I ever refrain from continuous work, everyone would immediately follow my example. If I stopped working, I would be the cause of cosmic chaos, and finally the destruction of the world and these people. Basically, Krishna is saying, like, listen, dude, like, I am a god. I can have everything, I can do everything. But if I stop doing what I'm going to do, the world would fall into chaos, people would die, everything would fail. But I continue to do it selflessly, for everyone's benefit. So such should you. And then Krishna gets into something called the gunas. And the gunas are sort of these energies, these vibrational frequencies that kind of occupy us, our bodies at least, and our minds, this physical reality that we live in. He says that the people who are wise realize that their actions are not their own, You are not the doer. You are simply there. You are the true self, observing you and this world unfold in front of you. But those who are unwise live and think that they are the one who are committing things, committing acts, karma. And so when you sit and observe peacefully and watch the world unfold, watch your own actions unfold, you are not creating any more karma for yourself. And so that's getting more into, again, that like life guide stuff Krishna is talking to Arjuna about. He's kind of like Arjuna's life coach here. And so that concludes the 3rd chapter and this episode of the Bhagavad Gita. Some things that I really enjoy about it are Krishna basically explaining to Arjuna, hey dude, you're fine. I've got you covered with reincarnation. You're good. I just love how plainly he puts it. Listen, you silly mortal, like, this is fine. I put you in this war. This is your dharma. You're good. I also really identify with a lot of Arjuna's doubts, when you think about we're put in all these situations where we have to morally work out, like, all right, is this fine for me to do? Is this, like, how did I get in this situation in the first place? I thought I was a good person. And, it is in this book explained that, like, listen, you're put in these positions for a reason. It's your choice what to do, but you need wisdom to see all the options. So with that, I want to say thank you for watching. I'll be continuing to do this series. It's going to be 6 parts, 3 chapters per part of a total of 18 chapters. If you like what I did, what the video is about, give me a like. If you want to see the rest of this series, feel free to subscribe. I don't get anything out of it. I just like having people see these videos. And if you want any part of the Bhagavad Gita covered, let me know. Just write a comment. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.